Welcome to The Record Show, your virtual spin around the vinyl industry. Brought to you by Radio Wasteland Records. Yes, Midland has a record store. Here's your host, Jim Gleason.
Well, greetings from the Wasteland and welcome to another action-packed episode of The Record Show. Yet another busy one headed your way today. As of the recording of this, Record Store Day 2022 is just a few days away, so of course we're going to have kind of a busy one here around the store. Coming up in a few minutes, we will take a closer look at a book chronicling the history of Record Store Day and looking back at 15 years of this fantastic event. We'll also touch base, not with Ken because he's busy today, but I'll check in and we'll look at the highlights of this week's new releases. But first, being that this is 2022 and shipping and supply chain and yada, yada, yada is going on, there are some last minute shufflings happening again with some of the Record Store Day titles. So as of today, the latest we have heard, there are several titles that have been moved back up to the April 23rd release that had been previously announced as being delayed until June. Those include The Academic Community Spirit, James Blake covers Frankie Goes to Hollywood, The Altered Reels, Glass Animals, I Don't Want to Talk, Gorgon City, the Olympia remixes, Dermot Kennedy, Doves and Ravens, and Sam Smith, Nirvana. Those had all been previously announced that there was going to be a delay and they'd be pushed back to the June date. But as it turns out, they're not delayed, so hopefully these are on their way. We've been told that shipping is being expedited on most of these, and most of them look like they're going to be readily available with the exception of Glass Animals, which we had some info that one is being allocated and or rationed, so there may not be that many of the Glass Animals release headed to an indie record store near you. Only two titles being pushed back to June as of this recording, and those are both from Soul Jazz Records, one of them being the 100% Dynamite Ska Soul, Rocksteady and Funk in Jamaica, and the Soul Jazz Records Studio One Classics. Those two titles have been pushed back to June, along with some of the other previously announced delays that we had talked about before. But the good news is that there are those several other titles that have been moved back up. So for those of you curious in our store area in the Midland, Michigan area, if you're thinking of coming to Radio Wasteland on Record Store Day, just a quick reminder that Friday evening at 6 p.m., we will be doing a special live broadcast, and it's our annual Record Store Day preview. We'll cover everything that we've got in the store, talk about numbers, talk about how things work. So make sure you mark your calendars on the E side and tune in for that. Again, a special Record Store Day preview live event happening Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern here from Radio Wasteland Records. Time now, though, for a quick check of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you for this Friday. Yes, the day before Record Store Day, there is a slate of other non-RSD releases headed out. Not that many, it seems, but still some very notable ones, and let's take a quick look there. Mostly reissues this time around, with the exception of a brand new one from Bonnie Raitt. That is correct. Just Like That is new stuff from Bonnie. And this is a new album, as we mentioned, coming from the Grammy Award-winning artist. And looks like it's going to be on two different versions, a regular black vinyl version and an indie exclusive teal vinyl. So very much looking forward to that one. But as we mentioned, though, lots of other reissues hitting, including a trio of reissues. And this is an interesting one. From Martin Denny. You've seen these in dollar bins throughout record stores pretty much everywhere, and now they're getting the reissue treatment, but with a twist on colored vinyl, of course. But Martin Denny, kind of a lounge, doing instrumental lounge versions of popular music at the time in the late 50s and early 60s. So these are three of his albums hitting the reissues for this coming Friday. Includes Exotica 2, on exotic green vinyl, originally released in 1957. 1958's Primitiva by Martin Denny, probably one of the more famous-looking ones you see lounging around in record stores. That one's on ocean blue vinyl. And Aphrodisia from 1959 originally, that one being pressed on flame orange vinyl. So if you're a fan of Martin Denny's cool lounge instrumentals, any of these three albums will do for you on that. Also being reissued, we've got two from the Pretenders, Pretenders and Pretenders 2. That's what I said, two from the Pretenders. These are both represses of a 2018 remastering of each of those two great Pretenders albums. Looks like they're both coming on black vinyl, but for you Pretenders fans, Chrissie Hynde fans, some great stuff coming from them. One final one, and this is an interesting one, Brutality and Bloodshed for All. This is a reissue of G.G. Allen's last album when he was with G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies. His final studio album before his death. It was released posthumously, rather, in 1993, just months after his death in New York City from a heroin overdose. He has been called the most spectacular degenerate in rock and roll history. Kind of a very interesting punk artist, lots of violent acts. He was actually in jail for assault when he wrote the songs for this album, so you kind of get that mentality coming from G.G. Allen. Very, very outrageous punk artist from the late 80s and early 90s. And this particular reissue is coming on red vinyl from Alive Records. And then one final note on a Music on Vinyl release that was due, well, a couple of weeks ago, but as the MOV titles tend to be, gets delayed, making it across the pond to our side of the Atlantic. This one is from Tin Machine, and it is the second Tin Machine album called Tin Machine 2. Tin Machine, of course, the band fronted by David Bowie, along with Hunt and Tony Sales. If you're unfamiliar with those, they are the sons of television great Soupy Sales. Just a little side note, some trivia for you there. But some great stuff from Tin Machine. This is such a fantastic album, and it's great to see it getting the Music on Vinyl treatment. Originally released, by the way, in 1991. So be on the lookout for that. It may have shown up at some of your stores already, but we here are finally going to be getting our copies this Friday. So that is a quick check of the highlights of this week's new releases, hopefully headed to an independent record store near you and released the day before Record Store Day this coming Friday. Well, Record Store Day, as you hopefully know by now, is this coming Saturday, April 23rd. And while it is a day that is all about celebrating everything that is vinyl and everything that is independent record stores, once in a while there's some other cool things that come along with it. This year is the 15th anniversary of the founding of Record Store Day, and to help celebrate that, they have released a book entitled Record Store Day, The Most Improbable Comeback of the 21st Century. This is a very cool book. It's coming out in, well, 3 variations, 2 book variations and 1 vinyl version. But there's a hardcover version of this book as well as a paperback. Now, this book is really a retrospective, going back to the beginning with remembrances of the first Record Store Days, along with the organizers, the ones who created the event, the record stores that helped get it off the ground, musicians, and more. So it's a very comprehensive look back on this. So way back in 2007, record stores were told that they were over, relegated to a footnote in the history of modern music. But instead of reading their own obituary, a bunch of record store owners decided to throw a party with their friends, some of whom happen to be among the greatest musicians and bands around. So in the past 15 years, as we know, that party has grown, and now it has become the largest single-day music event in the world, and accidentally relaunched vinyl as the format to have. So when you're out digging for vinyl on Record Store Day, make sure you look for copies of this book, Record Store Day, The Most Improbable Comeback in the History of the 21st Century. Technically, this has already been released. We got our hardcover copies a few days ago here at the store. We're going to put them out in time for Record Store Day, obviously. We're still waiting on the paperback copies. By the way, the hardcover book lists for $50 and the paperback edition is $20. And there is a vinyl companion to these 2 books. It is very limited, however, looking like there's only 1,100 copies headed out to indie record stores for Record Store Days. That special edition includes a compilation LP of in-store performances at record stores across the United States, featuring artists with the like of Paul McCartney, Metallica, Pearl Jam, Billie Eilish, Brandi Carlile, the Imagine Dragons, Jason Isbell, and many, many more. So the vinyl is very limited. I'm not sure if we're getting any copies here at our store. I know it's getting a little close on time, so hopefully we'll have some show up this week. But at the very least, there's going to be plenty of copies of the book, both hardcover and paperback out there. And what a great thing that covers the history of Record Store Day. So, well, with that, we're going to get back to work here and get ready for Record Store Day here at the Wasteland. We wish each and every one of you a very happy Record Store Day, happy hunting, and may all of the exclusives you're looking for end up in your record store bags on that great, great day. You folks have a good one, and again, happy Record Store Day to all of us.
Right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round.
Thanks for watching The Record Show. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the Radio Wasteland Records YouTube channel. And be sure to hit that notifications bell so you'll be alerted every time we upload new content.